Welcome to Author Design Academy's Quick Reads. Today we're going to be analyzing Don't Let Her Stay, a psychological thriller by Nicola Sanders. This cover proves that a lot can be said with subtlety. Not only does the composition create a striking design, whether big or the size of a thumbnail, it also tells a story linked to the contents within. No matter the size, the first element to be noticed is the bold, yellow, modern sans serif typeface. But it's not the type alone that makes it stand out. The color plays an important role as well. Entering the design from the middle requires a little extra oomph, and this composition achieves it through its use of color. If the background were anything but blue, the yellow wouldn't stand out. That's because the designer is using a complementary color scheme, colors opposite on the color wheel. Coupled with a lighter saturation, mixing the yellow with a little bit of white, forces it forward in the design. It also adds a little texture to the word her that ties directly into the story itself. This demonstrates how coupling multiple principles of design on a specific element can make it the hero of a composition. But what about the background that pushes it back? This is achieved with color and texture. The roof, for instance, has a muted color palette, reducing the saturation or liveliness of the color. The sky uses shades to darken the clouds. Then we have texture, which, like the type, uses two principles of design to push the rest of the composition back. The birds and shrubs are black silhouettes, and they utilize texture to help darken the imagery and push it further from the reader's eye. Yet again, the designer is using elements to thrust the typography forward and everything else back. Every composition needs a hero, and with too many, it muddies the hierarchy of visuals. Another element at play is proportion. In design, we love the saying, part to part, part to whole. The typography is large in relation to all the other elements on the cover. This is part to part. But it's not so big that it consumes the cover, filling the entire space. This is part to whole. We see this again when we look at the house. If we relate the glowing yellow window to the typography, it's fairly small. But because of the empty space around it, or the monochrome house, it stands out. If it were bigger, it wouldn't have the space to breathe, drawing in the reader's attention. This shows us that not everything in design needs to be big to command attention. In fact, sometimes smaller isolated objects can stand out almost as much as their enormous counterparts. These are just a few of the techniques making Don't Let Her Stay a great exercise in minimal design with maximum impact.